Which one are you? This is something that came up in conversation, just thinking about some things, and something that I've noticed with my culture, my people, is that we tend to be low value, high maintenance. And then some of us are high value, low maintenance. And this came up with the situation with, of course, Mr. Smith. And people were thinking he'd be canceled, right? However, after that situation, more and more people want him to be in their movies, their TV shows. He has more offers than anything. Because the man, let's face it, is high value, low maintenance. Despite the whole debacle, he is high value, low maintenance. He does his job, he studies, he gives his all. So just with this little situation, me personally, I don't think that Jada playing a black G.I. Jane would have been a bad idea. I think that would have been dope to have a black woman play that iconic role again. And two, I think it's kind of good, since we've always wanted to boycott the Oscars anyway. What better way to do it now than to follow suit and just not come and show up since Will can't? This can make a much bigger statement than we think. However, I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to it, because Will is high value, no maintenance. And how many of us, if we are working, we don't show up and we don't even call? How many more black people do you think have a no call, no show, no call, no call, no show than white people? Because we are willing to just bring in some value. I think it's okay because we have some value. And then we I'm not gonna say we just disrespect and completely forget about the fact that we have so much value that we're dependent on. When you bring that much value, you are dependent on. And you have to find someone who could fill your shoes, even if it's just for a moment. And so for a lot of black people, we feel like because we bring so much, we're just supposed to be given something. Yet, when we bring what we do bring, it's still a problem. You could be the best person on your job for a certain position, but you cuss people out all the time. You go off all the time. You're late all the time. But when you actually do your work, you're bringing value. However, they're paying more to maintain your space and your spot here, because they cannot depend on you as much as they can besides doing your job. And that's when you do it. Say you're having a bad day. So as African Americans, we have a lot of low value, but we require a lot of maintenance because we haven't learned initiative. We haven't learned how to be humble. But with black people, we are not consistent. Most of us are not consistent. And when we can't be consistent, we don't know how to put our word and leave our word, because as African Americans, black people, we were not allowed to communicate with one another. We weren't allowed to have language, communication. And now we're still doing that today, to where we don't even communicate. We don't have the language of taking initiative. We don't have the language of being consistent. We don't have the language of integrity and character. We just feel like because we've done so much, we're supposed to get some type of slack. No. Your name holds weight in that space. And if you're not keeping up your end, someone else will have to. And now that chain has a weak link. And it becomes you. To where you become too much maintenance, where it's 10 people trying to hold up your spot, instead of you holding up that one spot so that everyone else, the other 10, can do what they're supposed to do and have complete confidence in your work. So, are you low maintenance, high value, or high maintenance, low value? Because a lot of times we could put in so much work, but we have so much to say while we're doing it. It doesn't work that way. I'm not saying lower your head and take all the lashes and the beatings, because a lot of people think that's what you're doing when you're still working in the midst of a situation that is unfavorable. No, because the people are watching and they see your work. They see what you've done, because your actions does speak louder than words. But your good work cannot be spoken evil of, which is something my coaching session had me realize. I do good work. I bring a lot of value with little to no maintenance because I am ambitious enough to actually be able to take care of it to where I don't need supervision. You could look in and say, okay, she's still doing the same thing. It may be something that's a one-off, and that's only if I'm like, uh-oh, something changed, something shifted. I'm not exactly sure what to do here. And if I don't, I'd ask questions. And if I don't, I'll just continue with the scheduled programming, and then I'll ask questions later, because it's not up to me to change it just right off rip, off kilter. That's out of pocket. That's not in the protocol. That's not in what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it. There are supervisors, managers, and all of these things put in place for a reason. I may not have the ability to do this part just yet. However, but because I am doing what I'm doing well, and I don't need the supervision, people are beginning to say, well, maybe we could put her in a supervisory position because she didn't need the supervision, but she knows what needs to be done. So let's train her in this position now, because there's more to her than what meets the eye. But you can add so much value that even if no one knows what to do with you just yet, they don't want you to go because they'll find a way to put you into the DNA of the business. They'll find a way to make you a part of it so much to where you'll realize, I've given so much value here, I still can't let it go. And a lot of black people don't realize that. A lot of black people think that it's just okay. It's not. It's not. This isn't a little Sambo or coon situation to where you have that one black person in the midst of a bunch of white people who's doing everything and turning around and opening their cheeks on their own people. It's just a situation that front door is open now. So I can open the door because now I have all of the insight. I have all of the wisdom. I have all of the techniques, the systems that they put in place because I've been running it to do my own. It's another conversation when it happens. However, it's a lot that we need to start doing as African Americans that we don't always do, which is bring a lot of value, but require low maintenance. And so I just wanted to share that with you this morning. Once again, this is Brittany Simone with Do You See What I See? And if you don't, let me show you. Peace.